Politics is a very interesting game. And that's why personally I love politics. It's a very interesting game. Bishop Margaret Wanjiru thought there was going to be a by-election in Nairobi. Bishop Wanjiru ought to have learned one thing from Raila Odinga. The moment ODM party opted not to sponsor a candidate in Nairobi, that's the moment personally I knew we were not going to have a by-election in Nairobi. And on this platform alone, I have always opined severally that President Uhuru Kenyatta never had any intention whatsoever of removing Mike Movie Sonko from office. The president just wanted to punish the governor. But Governor Sonko became rogue. And because of that, he started abusing, insulting, and disrespecting the president. The president could not take that. So the deep state was instructed to remove Mike Movie Sonko as the governor, but without going through an election. So the deep state strategized. And by the time Mike Movie Sonko knew, a new governor is likely to be installed in Nairobi next week. Now let me just tell you how this thing began. In 2013, Jubilee government really wanted to take control of Nairobi. And for them to take control of Nairobi, this country is actually a tribal country. So they had to play some tribal arithmetic. So that tribal arithmetic favored Mike Movie Sonko because Mike Sonko was a Kamba. So getting Kambas out of NASA to vote for Mike Sonko, and then getting the poor voting for Sonko, and then Kikuyus voting for Sonko was enough to guarantee them victory. So they won through Mike Movie Sonko. But Mike Sonko was told a very simple thing. We are going to give you a running mate, Polycarp Igathe, a guy who is well-refined, well-educated, had all the qualifications. In fact, the main reason why some other people voted for Mike Sonko was because of Polycarp Igathe. Otherwise, Sonko was not even qualified in the first place to be cleared. In fact, the mere fact that Mike Sonko became the governor of Nairobi was shocking because Sonko did not qualify to be a governor. The intelligence report on Sonko states very clearly that Sonko died long time ago and was buried. Sonko has a criminal history. And apart from that, Mike Sonko, according to the intelligence report, might not even have had one of the basic requirements, which is degree. So Sonko was elected. Then once he was elected, Sonko now decided, okay, I'm not the governor. Ile kitu nilikuwa nawaambia ati I'll cede powers to my deputy. It's not going to happen. So he started frustrating Polycarp Igathe. And Polycarp Igathe resigned because he was also promised that once you are elected, once we have a governor, then what we are going to do, you are going to play key role. So because he lacked roles, Polycarp Igathe did not take in the frustrations. So he decided also to resign. So once Polycarp Igathe resigned, after frustration by Sonko, the system wanted Sonko to appoint another governor. Sonko refused. So the next thing people had was Sonko coming up with the name of Miguna Miguna. Miguna Miguna was hitting on President Uhuru Kenyatta just like a kid. You know Miguna Miguna, when he decides to be crazy. So that did not go well. In fact, at some point, he even submitted the name. It was, I don't know whether Miguna was in Canada. So that did not succeed. Then Mike Sonko started claiming that there was no constitutional requirement for him to appoint a deputy governor. So the Supreme Court issued an advisory opinion. And in that advisory opinion, the Supreme Court stated very clearly that a governor should fill any vacant position of the deputy governor, I think within 14 days. Or I think it was within 14 days. So Mike Sonko then, to try to attempt to fill that, he forwarded the name of Kananu Mwenda. And that's where the problem began. After swearing in, after submitting the name of Mwenda, what Sonko did, he tasked someone to go to court to stop the assembly from vetting Anne Mwenda wa Kananu. So that's the whole story. So he sent someone to court. So, and sometimes last year, Sonko was impeached. And before the impeachment, Sonko was actually asked by the courts not to access his office. Then later on, he was impeached. And the moment Mike Sonko was impeached, that's where all the drama began. There was that court order barring the assembly from vetting Anne Kananu Mwenda. That was the only court order. So what happens then is that the deep state went and looked for this guy whom Mike Sonko used to go to court. And this guy went and withdrew the case. And after that, before that, even the IBC, because the law is also very clear that once a governor is impeached, then the deputy takes over. And because we didn't have a deputy, then the speaker was to take over. But the speaker was only to act for 60 days. So by law, the speaker took over as the acting governor. And during that period, 60 days period, he was supposed to organize for an election. So ABC even went further and set a date for the by-election. So someone then went again to court to stop that by-election pending the determination of the case which Sonko had filed through this guy. So Sonko realized late that these guys are playing with him. So he tried going to court to stop the guy from withdrawing the case. It didn't happen. So the courts allowed the assembly to vet Anne Kananu Mwenda. And that's where all the drama began. And today, Anne Kananu Mwenda was vetted. In fact, the court allowed them on Friday. Was it on, no, not Friday. I think the other day. Then, after that, the assembly sat to vet Anne Kananu Mwenda. Today. She was vetted. And immediately she was vetted, the assembly, I mean, the Kenyan Gazette, a Kenyan Gazette was issued. Then immediately she was sworn in as the deputy governor for Nairobi. So Nairobi County, as at now, we have a deputy governor. The office of the governor is vacant. What next? I want us to just go through that very briefly. What next? Deputy governor. Number one, Anne Kananu Mwenda is going to be sworn in as the governor. She's going to take over as the governor. That's the first thing. Then the next thing which is going to happen is that once she's sworn in as a governor, then she's going to appoint a deputy governor. And that one, she has to do it within 14 days. And based on the speed we are witnessing, I'm foreseeing a situation where all these things can actually happen the same day. Anne Kananu can be sworn in today, then the next day, or the same day, she appoints a deputy governor. And I want to tell you, because I've seen people claim that the strategy of the deep state is very simple, that they want Dennis Waweru to be the governor. I don't think so. That's not the game plan of the deep state. Deep state is only interested in Major Badi taking control of Nairobi. So what's going to happen is that the ODM party, which aided Jubilee partners in handshake, in effecting this, is going to produce a deputy governor. That's the reality. So let us wait for Beth Siengo or even Sami Wakiaga as the next deputy governor for Nairobi. Dennis Waweru is not going to be appointed because Dennis Waweru, in the first place, comes from the Mount Kenya region, the Gema community. The governor, Anne Mwenda Kananu, comes from the Mount Kenya community. So which means that cannot happen. And even if it were to happen, Anne Kananu can decide to appoint Dennis Waweru as the deputy governor. But she can't be forced to resign. And the deep state is well aware that even Sonko, they did that for him. So the issue of Dennis Waweru, in my view, is out of a question. Dennis Waweru is not going to be appointed as the DG by Anne Kananu Mwenda. Kananu Mwenda is not going to allow herself to resign once she's the governor. Because in any circumstance, there's no way this lady can be a governor if it were not for God. Because in this case, you can say that God actually favored her, because Margaret Wanjiru was actually mocking this lady just the other day. So that's the first thing which is going, I mean, that's the second thing which is going to take place. She's going to be sworn in as the governor. Then she's going to appoint a deputy. And I'm backing that they're going to appoint an ODM guy as the deputy. Then after that, Kananu Mwenda is going to sit down and start working. And how is she going to work? She's going to work under direct supervision of Major John Badi, the Director General of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. If you listened to her speech, she was very clear that one thing she's going to do is to create a liaison office between the governor's office and the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. Thank you guys, and please take a second and subscribe to this channel. I want to hear your thought on this. Many people are saying that the move is actually unconstitutional. I doubt if it's unconstitutional. It can be unconstitutional. But politics is not a church. Politics is a dirty game. Mwai Kibaki was sworn in office in 2007. In the dark of the night, Mwai Kibaki served full term as the president of the Republic of Kenya. And Kananu Mwenda is going to serve full term in office as the governor for Nairobi. Upende, usipende. Governor, kazi kwako.